Hey everybody, so it is the 9th of September 2024, and I wanted to do a shout out for my shirt. It says Love More, and that's a design by crafty underscore sunflower 1980, Rochelle. And, yeah, I think her name's Rochelle. I just think of her as Crafty Sunflower, and that's crafty with a K. She's lovely. She's over at the African American Advisory Alliance, and oh my God, she's so cool. So I think she'll probably have a table on Saturday, during second Saturday. But she's just, oh, love it. She has like really pretty flower pots that she does like uh what are they called? Like oh, like a, how am I, it's something I actually do. A vision board. Like she does visioning on flower pots. I'm like, it's such a cool idea. And this love more idea is hers, and she just, it's, I think it like came to her in a dream, and she just is going with it. And I'm like, I love that because it's all about the love for me. So I wanted to talk to you about today because it's the I was gonna say 16th, 14th anniversary of my mom's death, and it happened around 1 p.m. 14 years ago at Pomona Valley Hospital. And I can still get into that space. It now feels a little like faded. The memories feel a little faded. And I kind of feel like my own maturity, like I feel like my I feel like I've my mentality has shifted since then. And it's not hitting me as hard this year as it has in years past. Um and my memory is kind of like shaky, and it has been actually since before my parents died. And it was something that I think happens when you're dealing with like emotional trauma. And I talked about that before, about those former friends, because it really, I remember like I my short-term memory was really bad, and I've had a few occasions where my memory has gotten like really shot. And like in 2020, like when the pandemic started, and my actually I started learning about my uncle having terminal cancer. Like my memory was so bad back then. And I mean it's hit and miss. Like, and also, if you're on the spectrum, which I've never been formally diagnosed, but I have a lot of characteristics of neurodivergency. There's oftentimes like a memory overload, and like short-term memory loss is kind of like a thing. So, something to investigate at some point. But I wanted to share with you something that has showed up recently, a few months ago now. In August. I don't remember. Time's weird. Short-term memory thing. So I was talking about before how I've been going through a lot of boxes and getting rid of stuff, and going through like things belonging to my parents and my grandparents and my uncle. And I went through my mom's personal papers. She had a notebook that she got from UC Riverside, where I went for my bachelor's in creative writing. And I, I know I've seen it. I know I've looked in it before, but I went through piece by piece, and I found a news clipping. This news clipping, and I read this part. Um, a peaceful creation, and it says, let's see, volunteers Lee Crusa and Randy Beckendam dig as they help build a labyrinth next to Tri-City Mental Health Center in Pomona. So I saw that, and I just went, no way, no way. And I unfolded it, and it, like I said, neatly folded article. Oh, excuse me. And there it is. Students work meditation labyrinth in Tri-City, the Tri-City Mental Health. And this is crazy. Okay. Like, if you know me, I'm very much into synchronicities. I'm very much into law of attraction. This is probably, you know, the height of what I've ever experienced. And, I met Henry Cavill and I told you how I did that. And that's, I don't know. Like, this is like beyond me. It is beyond me. And this is why. Okay. So, this article, it says that the garden has come together through a volunteer effort that started in May 2007 during the first citywide celebration, beautification, and anti-graffiti awareness organized by the Pomona Chamber of Commerce. So this article, it's exciting to see how much has taken place in 16 months. So, you're looking at May 2007 plus 16 months later. So what are we? May, June, July, August, September. This is from September 2008. So 2008 is 16 years ago. I've never seen this. Normally, my mom would cut articles out for me. Like, that was very common. We had the Inland Valley Daily Bulletin subscription. My mom always loved to read the paper front to back. And she would take out articles and cut out articles. And then if it pertained to me, she would oftentimes write look, LOOK, exclamation point, have little eyes on the O's. Really cute. This doesn't have any writing on it. Yet it was in her important paper folder, where she had some of her, what are they called? Financial, where she was writing out her finances for the month, her prescription. She'd take a lot of prescriptions. She had her daily, I took this many pills, that kind of thing. It's her personal, phone numbers and birthdays and that sort of stuff. And she had this in it. And I'm just like, I mean, I can only think that she intended it for me. I do not remember ever seeing this folder or this news clipping. And the fact it was she carefully folded it, and I'm just like, it was there when I needed it. And so the levels of this. So because my life has been really hard, really the last, I'd say 16 months, which evidently this was over 16 months. Funny that, right? I actually enlisted in help at Tri-City. And Tri-City is specifically Laverne, Pomona, and Claremont. That's it. It's Tri-City because it's those three cities. When I lived with my mom and my dad, it was in Upland, which is not in LA County. It's in San Bernardino County, and it's a couple cities over. Now, I did say, like I said, my mom did die at Pomona Valley because that was a hospital that, I think had the arrangements with she was in long-term care, and then she was sent to Pomona Valley because she was being treated for sepsis. But that's just, she died in Pomona. I live in Pomona now. I can receive treatment from Tri-City. I'm obsessed with labyrinths. I had wanted to see the Tri-City Labyrinth. I learned about it in 2022, and because I was trying to find labyrinths that were near me. And I read about it. It was a joint effort between Amy's Farm and I think Uncommon Good and a few other places. And I learned through asking and going to the wellness center and just talking to people at Tri-City, it didn't exist anymore. And that they were redoing their whole therapeutic garden. And I didn't learn until after I started going to Tri-City, until I enlisted in the therapeutic garden, because I want to walk, I want to go to the garden, and I've been learning garden techniques and going to farms and things like that. So I wanted to walk this garden, walk this labyrinth. And I learned that there is, in fact, still a labyrinth, but it's a different one. And it's not open yet. So they haven't even opened the therapeutic garden. They've just had it redone completely. So I never actually saw this labyrinth. And these pictures show it actually being created, which is extraordinary to me. But then I went to not Scott, Lee Crusoe. Scott Kleinrock, actually, because I mentioned this article to somebody recently, and they said, "Oh yeah, I know Scott. He works at the Chino Water Basin, so he does the gardens there. So he's still in the neighborhood." But Lee Crusoe, I went to his website, and he literally has all of these photographs of the labyrinth in different stages of being built, and with when they had the opening ceremony for it, and just really, it's so well done, like as far as his documentation. And so I actually got to see the labyrinth, even if I didn't see it in person. I still have, I've seen it. I'm like, okay. So, because when I saw this article, I felt beyond belief that my mom had some inclination that I was on the labyrinth path, even at that time when I'd only done labyrinth things maybe 3 times at most, between walking at the Daw, doing the prayer labyrinth with my friend Kristen Schmidt. And I don't remember any other labyrinths except for that. And I don't remember talking to my mom about labyrinths. I mean, this is where I talk about my memories. There might be something there. Like, I really should actually meditate and write about this, and maybe do some free writing and seeing if is there something I'm missing in my brain? Any case, I was like, I am in these spaces that my mom saved this article for. Like, that is synchronicity, okay? This is actually a confirmation that I am on the right path, that I'm exactly where I should be, that my mom saw this in me, this connection with the labyrinth and connection with Pomona. And I'm like, it just is so gratifying to know that my mom saw me, that she saw who I was going to be before I was even aware. I was 27 years old. I was in the depths of this angst from my mom dying, from, even though I didn't know she was dying, but her health was definitely on the decline, and these people who I put so much trust in, like, it hurts that I did that. It hurts that I put so much trust and so much, like, if I had gone about it differently, if I had actually seen, I am a powerful creator, and I am valuable. I have value. I didn't see these things when I was 27, and I wish I did. I think my life would have been a little easier. I would have been, after my parents passed away, I might have been a little less hard on myself. Because I did blame myself a lot for their deaths. So maybe I could have done something. And maybe it's that realizing that this power was there and I didn't know. Because I deeply, deeply undervalued myself when I was 27. I deeply undervalued my contributions. And I'm not now. It's taken 16 years to really start to recognize what my powers are, and do these, like, trial and error, and just really start tapping in the capacities that, and I even really learned about these things from a cult. But there's some things to it that are true. It's just they're trying to use it against people. So it's like, no, like, I'm taking the ancient beliefs and teachings and things of that nature and applying them. Because the law of attraction is literally, it's a buzzword for something that has existed for, ever. It's what we call it. Like, depth psychology and synchronicity. These are just things that we call them. These are forces that are something, it's literally how reality works. So when you tap into them, when you're able to recognize them, and you're place within them, you can do anything. So this article is a confirmation of all that for me. And I'm I'm so touched and just so grateful that I have the mom I have. And even if she's no longer physically here, my mom knew me well enough to, and I don't know if she suspected like how I would connect the dots, or I mean, I talked about it literally that my whole life had to transform for this to hit as deeply as it does. Like I had to be out of Upland, I had to be in Pomona, I had to have had enough like negative experiences to be like, I need to get into therapy now and have this connection now with nature that I'm like learning about, just the cycles of nature and pollinators and just all of these things, how they all work together. And of course the labyrinth, and where does that fit into all of it? Because for me, the labyrinth is that space, that in between space that connects. Well, I like how it kind of undermines human thought and human expectation, and it gets you into that liminal space that it's sometimes harder to tap into, but we can do it with like meditation and things of that nature. But I like doing walking meditation. That's where the labyrinth comes in. And so it's spiritual, but also it's very, I don't know. It's natural, but it's not. There's something, I don't know. There's something else there. It, I love that. So, that's something, that's what I always go back to for me. And this kind of just really seals it for me, that I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is literally my vocation. This is my birthright. I had a conversation like that recently, last year with a teacher, and I talked about it. How she said, is it just basically, is it a fad, or is this something that like, it's a part of you? And I'm like, yeah, this is it. This is, through and through, this is who I am. And if my mom gives me the props for that, I mean, not to say that, we all need validation from our parents. I'm not trying to say that. What I am trying to say though is that on the path I've been on the path that I've been exploring authentically, asking questions, taking myself into these spaces, I got somewhere that my mom saw the possibilities in me. And that just, it it brightens me up. It just makes me feel like so much ease and so much, you know, um, just, I'm definitely on that other side of facing a loved one's death, of facing like, I don't have that anxiety I used to about it. And while I miss her presence, her physical presence, like her spiritual presence is still here. And my article just, shows that. And I'm just completely at ease with that. And so I have I have been delaying applying for a PhD program, and it's where I want to do further with um, labyrinth studies and actually looking at Ariadne and, in these ways of like, who is she? Like, when she's not depowered. Because that's the thing a lot of the Greek mythologies do, is they depower the women. So they make them monsters, they make them like not goddesses, even though they were goddesses originally. So I was not, I haven't done my application yet. And I was waiting for something, and I was waiting for this. Like, I needed this. This is my, smoking gun, as it were. This is like, this is it. This is the piece that I get to build my application on. And I'm, I'm just, I love that. I love that. I absolutely love that. Like, I thought it was connecting with my mom's friend, her artist friend. And speaking of that, the same folder, I found two things for her. I found her amazing artwork. This is actually for my mom's friend's show, for her graduate show she did at CGU. And additionally, taped, or not taped, but stapled to this is her artist statement. So I get the words of this artist, even though I haven't been able to get in touch with her. And that is actually a big part of what I've been looking for too. And I'm kind of just reading some of this, like this. I'm gonna read part of this. So this is my mom's friend's D Small, and this is her last paragraph. So she said, "My paintings embody complexity, permutation. I sometimes think of them as several paintings laid one atop another, as if they had shattered and then been pieced together again. When I'm working on a painting, I am continually losing and finding myself, entering and exiting hidden spaces. One of my goals in making these works is to generate similar experiences for viewers." And I can really relate with that. I love this idea of losing and finding yourself. And see, that's also very labyrinth. It's very much, because it's like when you're walking the path, you can sometimes get confused on what direction you're going. And, but you start looking at the path again, and you're like, oh, you can find it. You're losing and finding yourself. And this exhibition she did was called Outlets. And again, there's a reason why I was drawn to it, I'm sure. But it's so, all those circles, all those circles. And I think it's mixed media. Like, I know she worked a lot with paint, but I think it's mixed media. Is it, well, it just says exhibition of new work. Oh, wait, no, it's at the bottom. It's acrylic. Okay, so it's all acrylic work. Yeah. And the naming conventions are like, okay, so far be it from me, as it were, by which I mean, there it is then, having said that, and even so. I'm like, I feel like there's almost like a conversation going on there. So this was also in my mom's folder, and I found it at the same time. I didn't bring mention to it just because the labyrinth part was that really stuck with me. But this is also really incredible. So thank you for listening to my 24-minute video. And if you have any questions, please feel free, or any comments. I would love to hear. But yeah, talk synchronicity to me, please. And, any kind of crazy, kooky connections that you may have, or experiences, I would love to hear about them. So bye. Thank you for listening.